This week on What Do You Got? We have the Bros Must Watch list. Stay tuned.
Oh, shit.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Burnout Podcast. I'm Andy Smith. This is What Do You Got?
What do you got?
This is Tim's What Do You Got? What do you got is when we bring a random topic to the table, and we just bullshit about it for a while. So, Tim, what do you got for me?
Revamped the Bros Must Watch list.
Oh.
Or Bros Watch list or whatever it is. So we did this once upon a time, and it was a beautiful, beautiful podcast. And it turned out we weren't recording audio the entire time. So we're doing this round two. So I'm going to start from the get-go. I need to watch more movies.
Yes, you do.
I wholeheartedly need to watch more movies. So I'm allowing Andy to give me 5 movies. I'm naming the genres. You're giving me the picks. And once a month, I'm going to be watching these, and we are going to be reviewing them on here. So we're going to tell you the order that we're watching them, blah, 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 blah. Few curveballs to you. I changed up a little bit of what the genres are. There is no documentary anymore.
Okay.
And I have my own for you at the end of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Better not be animated.
Toy Story 3.
Better not be animated.
So, yeah.
All right, so real quick, if it's a movie you've seen, I got to pick another one.
That's correct, because that defeats the purpose. So
Okay.
the whole point of this is for me to expand my horizons a little bit.
Spread those
and
wings.
I've been intending to watch the movies you suggested from the get-go, but because I have no time pressure, I just never do.
And I don't even remember what the movies I picked were.
Honestly, I don't either, except for the one documentary, and that didn't really do it for me. So we're going to start from the beginning. All right, so pick a number 1 through 5.
2.
Okay, so Thriller.
Okay, a thriller.
Thriller. I'm singing Thriller to the sound
Thriller.
of
Watch
Sister,
Thriller.
Sister.
Michael Jackson.
Thriller.
No.
Thriller. Never knew
okay,
how much
so-
I killed her.
Is thriller different than horror?
Yes. So when I
And
say
you're-
thriller, I'm thinking of like 7.
Okay, but you've seen 7.
I have seen 7.
Let me think about thrillers.
If you want me to swap to a different one, I can.
I have one that's... I guess it's not a...
I'm gonna be.
I guess it is kind of a thriller,
Go for it.
but it's not... Have you ever seen Misery?
Is that Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
No, I've only ever seen the Family Guy adaptation, which takes about 10 minutes, and it's Stewie as the woman.
So it ruins the movie for you.
Yeah, because I know the plot and basically how it ends, assuming they don't screw that up. They actually stay pretty true to things like that.
Yeah,
when they do it.
okay. So that one, and that's like, I don't know what genre you would like stuff that in.
It's not really horror, maybe suspense.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm kind of going with. Like, you can add suspense to that because, like, Saw is a horror movie, but a suspenseful movie is different.
Okay. Thriller, suspense thriller. Let's circle back to that one because I have one it's a good movie, but it's not like a it's not a murder. It's not like a
Murdery movie.
It's not like that kind of a thriller movie. It's a good movie though that no one ever talks about. It's called Out of Time with Denzel Washington. The reason why I like that movie is because it's just realistic enough with like the big building blocks of the plot where you can kind of imagine yourself in the like doing in this situation. And there's so many times in the movie where they do it where you're like, fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say start with that. But I got to think of one that's more of a thrill thing. But put that one down for now because that's like an easy watch. But that was a movie when I watched it for the first time, I just remember specifically being like kind of nervous for the people in the movie.
Okay.
So like when you watch it, this is one of those ones, go into it with the mindset if you're the main character. Or like imagine one of your friends is the main character.
Okay. I can do that. All right. Pick a number 1 through 4.
1.
Scary movie.
A scary movie.
Scary movie. Terrify me. I'm gonna hurt you.
Have you seen 28 Days Later?
No, and I think that's the one that we landed on last time
That
too.
one.
I'm pretty sure you've told me the plot through and through, but I'll still watch it because I don't have a good memory.
Part of the reason that movie is done like really well, and it's gonna even stick out a little more now that the movie's aged. But they shot it with I forget what kind of cameras they shot it with, but it's almost kind of looks like not VHS, but like kind of VHS-y, like with the grain. But it's that fast motion shit. But just the way that movie is set up from the beginning, you're just like, they're the worst zombies, the worst ones, by far, the worst ones,
by far the worst. All right, 1, 2, or 3.
2.
War.
Ooh. Okay.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing,
In
except
movies.
maybe like 2 to 3 hours of visual
So
excitement.
you've seen Saving Private Ryan?
I've seen it, but it's been like years.
Okay.
Years, but I have seen it.
A war. So you want like a true to like a more of like a based on a true story kind of war movie?
You can do whatever your heart fucking desires. This is the Bro Down podcast. You can you could tell me to watch 300. I've seen it. I would watch it.
Okay. I would say Saving Private Ryan is probably
The top.
I'm not I've never been anywhere near anything like that. But from what I've heard people that were in it, like my grandfather watched that movie. I remember him telling me as we were like little kids, and he was like, we're like, well, is that? And he was like, yeah, it was like that, but just way worse. So like, but he didn't say like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Because he was where in the beginning of the movie where it takes place, he was there.
Yeah.
And that movie kind of captures like, especially at the time, like it doesn't pull a lot of punches. So it kind of gives things to you like right down the middle where they don't like try to like cherry like top it or whatever that saying is.
Top it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those movies that has all those cherries.
It's not. It's a heavy watch.
It's more like grenadine.
Yeah, it's
Thick.
a heavy watch. It's loosely based.
Syrupy.
Yeah, it's loosely based off of
Occasionally put it on ice cream.
something that happened. Where the premise of the movie.
Yes.
Where like the guy has 3 brothers that die.
Yes.
Yeah. So something like that did happen, but that particular person I believe is fictitious. But it's just a hard watch. But it's almost one of those movies where it should be like required. Just so like you have some minor semblance of like what people have gone through.
I'm imagining them showing it to like 5th graders and just being like, all right, done. Now we're going to watch a baby come out of a vagina.
Yeah. I think I was in 5th grade when it came out and I saw it. Not in the movie theater, but when it came out on VHS.
Okay.
Probably not the smartest idea
No.
to let a 5th grader watch that movie, but
It explains a lot.
it happened.
But it happened.
Yeah, that one again, when you watch that one, make sure like you got your drinks and everything set up so you don't have to pause it. Keep your phone on silent.
You know me, I can't have drinks then. I'll have to pee.
Well, then get a bucket. All right? You can piss in a bucket.
I was about to say something I can't on camera.
Okay. 1.
Comedy.
Ooh,
Make me laugh.
Comedy's tough because so many like the sense of humor is so different.
So I'll give you a hint. I'm not a big Will Ferrell guy. So like I appreciate Elf, but I'm not like I don't know how to put it. I'm not a big fan of his. So like
Okay. So I wasn't even gonna pick one of those. I was gonna pick like a more
Sausage Party.
that was that had funny parts in it.
That did have
That did have funny parts in it. Did you ever see Young Frankenstein?
No.
You never saw Young Frankenstein?
No.
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
It's shot in black and white, but it's from the 70s. It's
Yeah.
not, but they did it for, authenticity of like the old school
Frankenstein.
So, it's basically like Frankenstein's nephew
Okay.
grandson who wants nothing to do with it, and then he gets roped into going there, and then he tries to recreate the Frankenstein monster.
Okay.
But it's all slapstick. Like think like Airplane.
That's funny that you say that, because now that we're discussing it, the first time we did this podcast, I'm pretty sure you told me Airplane was the comedy to go to.
Yeah. And you never saw Airplane?
No.
Okay. So those old, like, when you watch, and this is one of the things that it's hard to go back, and you almost can't judge someone for going back and not appreciating the movies, because it's like if you hear a joke from guy A, it's like, holy shit, that was funny. When you hear the joke from guy
D.
X, you're like, all right. It's kind of the same thing. It's not that they're making the same jokes, but when people do something for the first time, and
It's 1,000 times funnier than
it's funnier. It's also like people never saw it before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's not like people never saw that stuff before, but that was like, they were the bee's knees in comedy back then.
Bee's knees.
Yeah, and like same thing with like Saving Private Ryan, like the special effects that they used that were real, and like the makeup and all that stuff, it was like very well done. Like we always talk about Lord of the Rings, how one of the reasons why it stands up is because they used a lot of makeup that was done so well that it's not like you're looking at CGI like that's not real. That was made in 2000.
Yeah.
Like it stands up a little bit more. So when you're going back, like almost try to find other things in it.
Okay.
Like see other movies in that movie and like kind of where they pull some of the shit from and all that stuff. Because back then,
I feel like I'm gonna have to write an essay.
Yeah, well, we're gonna break them down. Yeah.
Professor Smith, home economics. Wait, what? Bro down pro class.
You're gonna get graded if you fail.
You're gonna kick me out of class? You don't know how to work this equipment.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. So number one,
Cardboard cutout Tim is gonna make a comeback. I put it as drama, but I'm also gonna make this a catch-all. You can throw a curveball in if you want.
okay. So a drama. You know, the last time I remember, I specifically like went through catalogs of movies to like pick out ones, and I wrote them down.
Yeah.
So like now I'm like, it's like taking a test where you know the answers, and the question comes up, and you're like, motherfucker, I don't fucking have it.
Just one of those days.
Yeah. So drama.
Preferably one with a llama, so that we can say drama llama.
Drama llama.
Dun, dun. Dun, dun.
See, a lot of the dramas that I like are like, they're not really dramas. They're like,
Comedy dramas.
no, they're like action dramas.
All right, that's why I kind of made it a catch-all, because like that's really similar to being like thriller, kind of in a way.
Okay.
But yes and no. So like,
Have you ever seen the movie Rob Roy?
I know.
That it's a longer movie. Oh, I got a drama for you.
Go for it.
Legends of the Fall.
Okay. Legends of the Fall, not the spring.
It's one of those movies where it'll probably end up being one of your favorite movies, depending on if you like the people that are in it. I don't know what your acting or your favorite actors are. Some people have like problems with some big actors for some reason.
I mostly don't.
But it's basically just a movie about a family.
Okay.
But it's a long movie. It's probably 2 hours and 45 minutes long. But it's certain parts are so difficult to watch if you again put yourself in that position that you'll literally like there's like two or three scenes in the movie where you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, man?
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't want to tell you because you don't know what's going on. But I get excited when people that I know haven't seen like some of my favorite movies. Like that's probably on my top 10.
All right, maybe I'll come over and we'll watch that one when it's time for that one.
Yeah.
You know what that's reminding me of? Not that the plot's going to be the same, obviously, but you ever see that movie Silver Linings?
No.
No?
No, because when I say the dramas that I like are like action dramas, they're not action dramas. It's like there's a scene or several scenes in there where there's like violence, because I can't do only sad. I can't. I just, for whatever reason, I'm not there yet. So, like, there has to be a point where somebody, like, really fucks someone up.
If someone doesn't get hurt, what's the point in watching
Yes.
it?
And, like, it's got to be like that. So, the Silver Linings Playbook, like, I'm pretty good at just, like, looking at a trailer and, like, knowing what goes on in the movie. So, when I saw that, I'm like, that seems like it's just a life story. And then nobody does anything crazy besides crying or yelling and being bipolar or something. So I'm just like, no, I'm not. I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But also
we're
too,
learning more things about you. That's good.
with the Legends of the Fall movie, again, try to put yourself in place of every person in that movie. So.
Okay.
You might even you might even pause it several times. Like, it's because there's going to be people and, like, multiple people in the scene. But, like, if you pause it, because there's going to be situations that come up in the movie where you're like, I don't know who to be mad at.
Yeah.
I don't know who. And, like,
I mean, that's how families work, so that makes sense.
yeah, but, like, serious.
Okay.
So, like, when you,
Serious.
but the thing is like, when you first think about it and you look at it at eye level, you're like, oh, well, clearly this. And then you're like, maybe not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have me intrigued on that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's going to be like a long time away.
That's probably one of the movies I've watched the most in my life.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's good.
We might make this an extra podcast. Instead of me ripping off What Do You Gots every 2 weeks, we'll make this a third
A third what?
segment.
Oh, okay.
Like, it'll be like a special What Do You Got every now and then. So that, because I'm thinking, like, we'll do one a month, but I'm looking at 6 of these, and I'm like, that's half a year. It's kind of dumb. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll do like every 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, well, however quickly you can watch them.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and last one, me to you. Have you ever seen The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc?
What year was it made?
Early 2000s, late 90s.
Is that the one with what's her name as Joan of Arc?
Yes.
Um,
Malkovich, not Brock.
Jolovich.
Yeah.
No, Mia Jovovich. She plays in the Resident Evil.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I did see that one.
Oh.
It's been a long time since I saw it, but I have seen it.
I'm trying to look up the year.
I remember thinking that they must have spent a lot of money. That's not it.
This is not it.
Just type in Joan of Arc movie. I remember thinking that they spent a lot of money on the costumes.
1999.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. I
It's in
remember
my top 5.
I think I saw because I'm one of those people that if I watch something that I like, I want to know the history of if it was actually like that. And there was one on this, but I don't remember if this was actually super accurate or they missed a bunch. But I will send you the link to it because it's a thing I watch all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the link to it. So, real quick about this. I don't know how true the story is overall, but I do know that the initial scene with her meeting the King of France, who wasn't the king yet, he was the Dauphin or whatever, was accurate. He did this thing where he disguised himself. So, just for reference, I once told this to a mutual friend of ours. I'll tell you after the fact. I won't name them now. This young girl, when I was in college, she was in high school. I think she was a senior in high school. So I was telling her about this movie and telling her this part in particular, how when she meets the King of France, she got really upset. And she's like, "You're lying to me. You are not the King of France, blah, 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 blah." And it was a trick. He wanted to see if she was really the chosen one, quote unquote. He was thinking that you would be able to find me and pick me out, and she ended up figuring it out. And this was a girl who was unread, blah 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 blah. And so that was like the moment that changed his mind of being like, all right, I will give you some sort of support and like we'll figure this out. And that was like the beginning to her changing the tides of the whole war and blah 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 blah. So I was explaining this to this young girl, and apparently like that week it came up in English class. They were like, the story of Joan of Arc. She was the French maiden. And she was like, when I tell you I was telling her this story, like I went into detail. We talked about Joan of Arc for like 20, 30 minutes. And she was like, her English teacher was like, she was the French maiden, and she moved on, and apparently she stood up. She's like, that's not it. That's not all of it. I know it all. Like, she got so excited because she finally knew a topic.
Yeah.
And they glossed over it immediately. She was like, no, we're doing this.
Dude, that's funny because like a lot of the times, like especially if you know things about history, like when they just go over like important shit, you're like, oh, but that was the cool part.
Yeah.
Like that was the cool part.
There's so much coolness to this
Yeah,
story.
that's a wacky story because like the history thing I told you about, they go into like all the things that like didn't make the movie and what actually happened.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because like there's a lot of politics and like games that they were playing with, like because she was on trial.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but basically they had this thing where they were asking her a question that she could not answer because if she answered it, it would undo everything that she was saying. And it was basically like a catch-22 question. Yeah. And she like refused to answer it. And they were basically kind of like just kept bringing her up there until she answered it. And I don't think she ever did. And then she like asked another question to them and they were like, well, fuck you too. And then they burned her.
Then they burned her. I don't know where I read this, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think that I do know that the Catholic Church excommunicated her, but they rescinded it. So, believing that that's real, she wasn't in heaven for a while, but now she is.
Yeah, the Catholic Church had a habit of like using that as like a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
They did it to popes too.
Yeah, I know. They were a little willy-nilly with it.
Little bit. Little bag of money.
I don't like you. You're excommunicated.
Yeah.
No eternal bliss for you.
There's been kings that have been excommunicated
Yeah.
and all. That's a weird.
They were also saying that they think that she had a tumor.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they prove that this
I
far
think that's
later,
one of
but-
those. They're diagnosing the symptoms of things that she did.
Oh, that's.
Well, they're based. I think that they like the records that they have of like some of her ailments that she went through, or like maybe she had seizures or something like that, and like they kind of just said like it's possible she had a tumor, which is why she was getting visions. Because
I mean, it would make sense, but
yeah, I mean back then you said you talked to God, they either burned you at the stake or they put you in the head of an army. Now they just let you ride the bus for free.
Sometimes both.
Yeah, but
You just have to talk to the right people.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but no, that's a nutty story.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
Since you don't remember it too well, I am going to make you rewatch that. That's going to be
Yeah, I'll rewatch that.
That's going to be our number 6.
Is it on anything?
I have it on DVD, believe it or not.
If it's not on any streaming, let me borrow it and I'll watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our 6. To go over this in order, we are going to be doing 28 Days Later, number 1. We're going to be doing Out of Time, number 2. Young Frankenstein, number 3. Saving Private Ryan, number 4. Legends of the Fall, number 5. And The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc, number 6. The first one up, 28 Days Later, we're going to be talking about. I'm bringing this up because I'm terrible at math. So this is going to air on the 2nd, which means the 16th we are going to be is when the episode of us discussing this is going. Oh, wait. The 16th? No, we're going to do the 15th. The 15th is when this will air.
Sounds good. Don't
Right.
forget.
Oh, I'm going to. This is where the audio. Oh, my God. This jiggles like crazy. We need to tighten this up.
I know. That's what she said.
What she said. Let us know in the comments section down below how we did with our choices. Don't forget, it has to be movies that I didn't see, so we are a little bit limited here. I have seen a movie or two in my lifetime. Don't forget to go to brodownpro.com. We're coming out with new stuff all the time. Also, there's a little bar there that you can suggest your own What Do You Got topics. No one ever does. But we would like you to suggest something because we want to try less.
Yeah.
Okay?
We're lazy.
We're lazy.
All right.
We're
we
lazy.
We can't keep doing this all by ourselves.
It's so hard.
We
Catch you guys next time.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.